Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for May the 3rd, 2011. Now our first position is going to be in July lumber's futures contracts. What we can see here with the Vantage Point software is potentially a very bullish break is currently about to form, in my opinion. Now what we have here is the predicted true strength indicator from Vantage Point in heavily oversold territory. It's crossed the trigger to the upside. Predicted MACD, the exact same thing. So we have these two very powerful indicators confirming one another. We also have the predicted short-term difference breaking above the zero line. We can see that our predicted medium and long-term differences are both pointing up, with the predicted medium-term difference getting ready to move above the zero line. Now in this particular case, we're going to try and get an early jump on this particular trade, and what we're going to be using here is the short-term crossover from Vantage Point. Now we can see, looking at this, we have the short-term crossover crossing to the upside, the predicted MACD, and the predicted true strength indicator, all three of these indicators confirming in the short term that this is going to head higher. Now in the medium term, we're getting ready for a cross to take place here, so again we're kind of jumping in here a little bit early, but I think it's worthwhile. And again, the long-term crossover not confirming this yet. So once we've identified we're looking to buy this thing on a dip, we can identify the close here, 263.50. We then go into our Vantage Point daily report. Now looking at the daily report from Vantage Point, we can see here that we have a close 263.50. Our move for tomorrow is between 258 and 265. Now 258, 259 area, that's what we're going to be using for, so a very shallow pullback. We're then going to be looking to get into our buy positions. Now again, looking at the lumber futures contracts, I believe we've got room to move considerably higher. Now looking at we can see the predicted short, medium, and long-term differences are all beginning to roll over long. The predicted medium-term difference just above that zero line now, it's turned from red to black, 0.9 into the positive, and then negative 7.3 to negative 4.3 is actually positive for us because we're moving back towards that zero line. So for tomorrow, again, we're going to be looking between 259 and 258 for our entry point, and then we would like to see a move back to 265 on an intraday basis. Now that's for the intraday traders. Our longer term traders, my opinion is we've got room to move back towards this $300 mark. So keep that in mind, guys. That's definitely one we want to keep an eye on over the next several weeks and months to come here. Now that's our first position for tonight. Now our second position for tonight is going to be in the foreign exchange market, specifically the Aussie-US currency pair. Now what we're going to be looking at this one is a bit of a counter trend position. Well, more than a bit of a counter trend position, looking at the current market shape of this. Now this has been going steadily up since for months. So essentially we can see in the Vantage Point indicators we're grossly overbought. Now point of interest here, the predicted short-term difference, medium-term difference has already turned and is starting to point down. So on this, we realize we're counter trend. This is going to be an intraday day trade. Key levels of support: 106.86, 108.38, and 109.29. Now looking at this, what we're going to be doing here is looking for we're looking for these indications that this trend is starting to run out of steam, and if nothing else, we're going to get a bit of a corrective move. So with that, we're going to use for tomorrow, we're strictly going to use the Vantage Point predicted high and predicted low. So on a move to 109.84, we're going to use that to set short positions, and then we would like to see a move towards the 108.96. Now the theory here is that with the non-farm payrolls being released on Friday, the dollar will actually rally a little bit this week. So we're going to look to manipulate the market a little bit, market conditions a little bit, for that particular move. So as we start to move towards Wednesday, Thursday, we're likely to see the dollar gain some strength. So towards the 110 area, that's where we're going to look to set our short positions. We're going to be, again, we would like to see about an 80 to 90 pip move, which is a very significant move in the currency market for an intraday basis. Now, to clarify, this is simply an intraday trade. This is not necessarily a longer term position. So I would be keeping the stops pretty close on this one at about the 110.60, 110.70 area. So it's basically about a one-to-one trade. That's what we're looking at. And again, we don't want to let this thing thing run because it can be a very expensive position to hold on a longer term basis. Now, again, looking at we're going to bring the daily chart back up here, and we're going to bring in the vantage point predicted high and low. And you can see that for several days in a row, we've been tagging and breaking through the red line is the vantage point predicted high for the day, and we've broken above. Now, the last 2 days in a row, we actually have been pushing a little bit lower. We've closed lower. So this is why it looks somewhat, we're going to see a corrective move. It's not a bearish reversal by any means at this point, but we're also seeing some volatility in the metals market. Specifically, silver and gold are moving lower. Gold is holding up surprisingly well despite silver selling off. So again, the metals are a leading indicator for the currency markets, and if those metals move lower in anticipation of a stronger payroll number, that is going to put some downward pressure on Aussie US, at least in the short to medium term. So those are the market positions for May the 3rd, 2011. And again, my name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com.